The American dream is changing again. No longer do the best jobs require a college degree, or at least some of the best jobs at General Motors. We aren't talking about the ones on the assembly lines necessarily. They say skills, not credentials, will now matter most for hiring. This changes the calculus once again for kids thinking about college or not, especially considering President Biden's plan to forgive student debt appears on life support. Tony Katz is here, voice of Indianapolis, heard on WIBC, host of the Eat, Drink, Smoke podcast as well. We will get to National Bourbon Day in just a couple of minutes.
Good.
Is this worthy of celebrating that these major American companies are making this change, or is it simply out of necessity?
Well, the necessity part, I think, is a big one. But you got to take a look at what GM stated. It's the right idea, and it's the wrong way to get there. Their argument is DEI. They're saying that they're looking to be the most diverse workforce. So what Mary Barra wants, the CEO of General Motors, to be the most diverse workforce, diverse company out there. And it is this kind of backdoor bigotry going on, saying, hey, you don't have to worry about having a college degree. No. We'll still find a place for you. The argument should always be that skills are more important than sheepskin. It's more important than the degree. This is exactly the conversation that people like Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs has been having. I've been having on my shows for years. This is, of course, the future. There's a purpose for college, but not for everyone. The way General Motors is discussing it is based through this DEI lens, and that is an extremely strange bigotry that's going on there. And this is what happens when you play in the woke Olympics. There are no winners. There's only this hatred that seems to percolate as an idea of somehow good.
Yeah, the soft bigotry of low expectations, saying that,
right?
Gee, we'll waive all this in the interest of diversity, rather than we waive all this because we realize that a lot of people have a lot of skills that didn't necessarily go to college.
Which is the right reason to eliminate it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and by the way, you can be a software engineer, or you can program robots on the assembly line. There's all these things. But are we now seeing a flip finally, and a realization that sending your kids to college and saving and doing that may not be the best use of money, and that there's plenty of careers that you can go make well over $100,000 a year in? You can raise a wonderful family, do better than your parents, having not gone to college.
Well, there's a lot of that. If you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, and his conversations about how the hustle can get you paid, a lot of people have taken that to heart. If you follow the gig economy, which was so much of the California conversation with AB5 and the idea of eliminating the ability to have a side job unless you were somehow a full-time employee and therefore part of a union, which was, of course, the desire. Plenty of people with plenty of skills, and what they don't see is college giving them the return on investment. Return, ROI matters a great deal. So yeah, there is that flip, and I would only hope it has universities questioning. It's why places like Purdue University, halfway between us in Indianapolis and Chicago, right there in West Lafayette, Mitch Daniels, the outgoing president now, has frozen tuition there for over a decade. It's because exactly of that. For that reason, when you take a look at what you could do with a Google certificate or a class here or there, you can provide without having to have that massive onerous debt hanging over you.
I was down in Uvalde, Texas, obviously for the shooting. Small town in Texas, 2 hours from nowhere. Big money. Very poor town. There was a young man I met at a grocery store. He graduated high school. I said, "What are you going to go do? You going to college?" He said, "Nope, I'm going to trade school to learn to be an underwater welder." Takes him a year and a half or 2 years. He comes out making $150,000, $175,000 a year, and it costs him $10,000 or $12,000. That's one semester of tuition at a big school.
It's way more to go to a big school than just $10,000 or $12,000 a year. The problem with those jobs has always been a younger generation saying, "Oh, that's beneath me. Oh, that's dirty work, and I don't want to do that." And people realize there's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of freedom, there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of demand in those things. Right now in the Midwest, there's this heat wave going on. It was 95 degrees in Indianapolis, and with the humidity, it felt well over 100 degrees. How important is your air conditioning tech right there?
Yeah.
And then we don't need any more gender studies degrees. It doesn't provide a value, but somebody who can make your house cool and therefore keep your family safe, very, very important.
Yeah, well, and you make a good point. Also now, sort of with social media and the democratization of and commoditization of education, having a college degree isn't what it used to be from a social standing, a social status. If you're making a lot of money being an underwater welder, you're sort of considered on the same social standing level as somebody, or even higher than somebody who has a gender studies degree and is teaching poetry at Starbucks. I look behind you, I see Let's Go Bourbon, bottle of bourbon, and then I realize that it is National Bourbon Day. Do we know why today, which is also Flag Day, is National Bourbon Day?
Well, you need a day. National Bourbon Day is different than Bourbon Heritage Month, which is in September. And while all the reasons in the world could be listed, I don't even know why you need a special day just to drink a bourbon. I think it's not too late to hit your local liquor store and find a good bottle. Now, that's a rye behind me. I believe that's the Jefferson's Ocean, or the Jefferson's right there, the rye behind
Tony,
me.
you just took 60 seconds to tell me that, no, you don't know why today is called National Bourbon Day. I guess the question is, why?
Every day is National
Why
Bourbon
not?
Day.
Every day should be National Bourbon Day. Exactly.
That was my point. I thought I was crystal clear about that.
We got there. It's good to see you, my friend. Cheers.
Always, man. Take care.
Thank you. Coming up, President Biden. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.